aga atanga mafo merita America amina bepira tanga oro benanga picho yepe na bo yata mini yepe na bo so bopin botera atanga bodombe John
Hello, televiewers. Hello, Ambazonians. Welcome to Amber Dynamics with Lady Casey once more. We appreciate you for joining us today um, on ABC Amber TV on this great program with Professor Martin Ayim. And he is my guest for today. He was the former Chief of Staff of the Interim Government of Federal Republic of Amazonia. He is now the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs. Mr. Professor Ayim, welcome to Amber Dynamics.
Thank you very much.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much again. And you want us to start? I would like us to observe a minute of silence, please. To all Ambazonians, let's observe a minute of silence for our fallen heroes on Ground Zero and everywhere, our IDPs and our leaders in jail and bereaved families, our refugees in Nigeria. Let's observe a minute of silence in their honor, please.
Okay, the minute of silence starts now.
To God be glory and praise. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. May we get protection, divine protection as we move in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Okay, Professor Ayim, thank you for that reminder. This revolution, we are fighting it on many fronts. On Ground Zero and diplomacy in the diaspora. And you are involved in some diplomatic activities. So I'm hoping we will get into that later. But I wanted to start as a people with one destiny, fighting for a liberation of Amazonia. Do you think so far, given your involvement in the interim government for the inception, do you think we are on the right path as a people who wants to be liberated?
The answer is an emphatic yes. We are on the right track. I guess your question one, I needed to introduce myself, even though you did some introduction, right? I'll let people know.
You can go on.
This is Professor Martin Ayim. I'm originally from Widikum, LGA. Ngwenjin is my village. And I have been in this course for the past 26 years at all levels. And I know a lot of people, been through a lot, been through some ups and downs. So I have experience in this struggle. I have served as the Secretary for Foreign Affairs in the days of the Governing Council, and in Sisiko's government was the Deputy Director of Project Planning, Measurement and Evaluation Bureau. And when His Excellency Sako took over, I was appointed the Chief of Staff for the interim government, a position that was challenging, and we did well to stabilize the course. And in his second cabinet reshufflement, he nominated me again, now the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, with specific diplomatic assignments, which have been carried out diligently. I'll tell you more as we go. This is the first interview I'm talking about as the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs. And I'm ready to update you, but I'm not going to let the cat out. So nice to be on your show, Lady Casey. You're doing a good job. God bless you. And I also thank Clovis, the technician at the background, without which these images you will not be seeing. So my greetings to all Ambazonians. My greetings to everybody. And then to your
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go on if you have more to say. Carry on, sir.
Yes, and then to your question about whether we're on the right track, I have no doubt about it. The struggle is on the right track. We are all focused, towards a goal, and we may be, approaching this from different perspectives. But whichever the groups, I respect you, I love you, and I just call on you to let's focus on getting to Buea. So we have that one goal that is uniting us as one people, one destiny, and we should have one resolve to get to Buea first before anything else. No politicking, no showboarding, no public show, no I, myself, and me. Let's work together with one resolve to get to Buea. First thing first. Some of us, like myself, I am not in this struggle for a position. Position or no position, I am going to do what I can to let us get to Buea. But if there's a position, it's voluntary. I am going to serve with all my heart. And so I'm calling on our colleagues, no matter the group you belong to, let's unite. Let's talk like one people. Let's not attack ourselves. Let us not attack ourselves. We have one common enemy. Let's approach that enemy. Please, this is my plea. And I would like to say, the UN already voted for our independence and actually scheduled the date as October 1, 1961. We are not going back to ask the UN for another vote to grant us our independence at all. Nor is our independence in the hands of La Republique to give us. If that country crossed in and usurped our independence as it did, we cannot be asking the international community to recognize that act of cross-border banditry and terrorism. What we have done simply, which is the right thing to do in this circumstance, is reclaim that independence and reinstate our government that was illegally dismantled by La Republique de Cameroon. Let's focus. We are thus not asking for independence. We are asking for recognition from the international community. And in the process, we require La Republique to leave our country. It's not theirs. Following this, it must be noted that when we talk about the withdrawal of La Republique troops from our land, we do not mean withdrawing into barracks in the country. We mean withdrawing to their own side of the boundary that everyone, including the illegal occupier of Ambazonia, knows. They knows that on their independence, 1st January 1960, the boundary was across the Mongo. He himself committed himself.
Wow. Thank you very much, Prof. Martin Ayim. You have clarified these points so articulately. Fellow Ambazonians, we were restored. Our independence was restored and have been declared several times. And Professor Ayim have just explained that to us. Prof. Ayim, I would also want to ask, there's been a recent lockdown which started on the 26th of August. And it has, to a large extent, been about 80% successful. We've had some argument and counter-argument on the start dates of this lockdown. Do you think the success so far of this lockdown shows that our people are determined, shows that their resolve is still very high. And also, this early start on the 26th of this lockdown, instead of, for the lockdown to last 3 weeks instead of a few days or 10 days, does it have any effect on diplomacy?
Big time. Big time. It is probably the reason why the interim government decided to declare it from the 26th. You see, what I want to tell my people, our people as well, is emotions don't cut it. We have to be strategic in what we do. There will be some pain, but we have to be strategic and outsmart the opposite side. You know, the interim government, or Chris Anu didn't just come out to announce this thing. The interim government debated on this for 1 month. And we weighed the pros and the cons. And then I gave them updates vis-a-vis diplomacy, why there is a need for us to start it early before school resumption. And this helps in diplomacy a lot. Now, wait, look at common sense here. If you wait to the second, now people go back to school early in the week before the second. If you wait to the second, and then they're already back to school, what are you faced with? Going out to chase them from school? You'll be labeled terrorists. Prevention is better than cure. So we put the block before it even happens. So this lockdown, starting from August 26th, which is ongoing successfully, we did not expect 100% the first week at all, but we expect a progressive growth and participation, which is what is going on now. It is good for diplomacy. And I want to tell you, our people, whatever started happening in 26 has been transmitted to appropriate quarters. We knew, we of the Department of Foreign Affairs knew, and the IG knew, that La Republique will bring their own Okadas, will bring people, their bees, to come riding the streets, to make as if nothing is going on, their taxes, etc. We knew this. And we prompted the international community beforehand. And know that this is one of the ways, some of the ways La Republique is going to try to outsmart us. So when it came out to be that, I'm like, I told you, this is what these people can do. So all what they're doing now, taxes out and the Mokadas, they're wasting their time because we had outsmarted them and explained to people to expect it, and they're seeing it. So they are instead validating our anticipation. We are 2-3 steps ahead of La Republique. I see some things they do, I just shake my head and say, okay, let's see. We own the land, it's Papa's land. And we're fighting for our generation, for posterity. And we will get it. Thank you.
Okay. You have explained quite clearly that, this was debated for over a month within the interim government. If I may ask, who were those within the interim government? Because I understand the interim government is made up of the executive, it's made up of the legislative, and the Restoration Council, and it's made up of the county chairs and LGA chairs. Who were those involved in forming this decision to start this lockdown on the 26th? Was it a few people, or did it include the LGA and county chairs in coming to these decisions?
SACCO's administration believes in participatory decision-making. And sometimes we have targeted participatory decision-making for the benefit of the cause. The cabinet deliberated on this and took that decision. And of course, the LGAs in the APP plan deliberated on this and they knew about this. And of course, that is the approach. So yes, it was, of course, the National Security Council, which is a representative, which is made up of General Somali 13 counties. It couldn't come to this decision without them. They were the pilot, they were the leaders of this decision and this date and these recommendations tied with the demands from diplomacy. Yes, the National Security Council is a powerful self-defense group in the IG because every country is represented. And they have to give their stamp of approval for anything to move on. Self-defense is key. So yes, that's how the decision came about. The National Security Council had a piloting and the cabinet and LGS APP plan were also involved. So it was bottom-up.
All right, thank you. So
and
if
of
I
course,
understand
one more thing.
Yes.
One more thing. There was consultation with Ground Zero. Consultation with Ground Zero. The National Security Council has consultation with Ground Zero to come up with this. It was not just imposed, it was discussed methodically, and from bottom up, the dates were agreed. Can we go up to the 16th of September? If we are very successful, if it continues the way it's continuing, and after schools have resumed, the National Security Council can review the situation and we can cut the lockdown short. After we have achieved the goal, we already achieved it now. And I will continue to see how it goes. The goal set for the lockdown, it wasn't lockdown for lockdown, it was a lockdown for a purpose. And we have achieved the purpose. I'm very happy to say that. Thank you.
Okay, so this decision was it came through the cabinet, the Amber Peace Plan, which is made up of the county and LGHS, and then the National Security Council gave a seal after their consultation with Ground Zero. Okay, yes. Thanks for that clarification, because at some point I thought it was Secretary Chris' choice. And lockdown have been going on. Lockdown have been.
Let me add this. Chris is getting an unnecessary beating. When Secretary Chris comes to the air, it's not his personal decision. It is what has been discussed, accepted, then he goes to present.
Okay, like he's supposed to do as the communications person for the interim government. So he's basically doing his job. Thank you.
Yes.
Also, this lockdown have been going on. There've been a lot of campaigning, especially from federalists or those people who have chosen to be destructive or distraction to the revolution. There've been a lot of campaign from federalists. Oh, this is too much, or that is too little, or we are, so many campaign against the lockdown, not knowing the real purpose why this lockdown was, put in place and why it was put in place from the date it was made. In your own view, as you have been involved, you have really said you've been involved for 26 years. Wow, I didn't know that. And you have been serving tirelessly, selflessly, and you've explained recently how you have worked under different, leadership, different political leadership of the revolution until the present one we have now, where you are now the Secretary for Foreign Affairs. In your own view, after serving in all these different capacities, after understanding and knowing all you know in the revolution, do you think as a people, as Southern Cameroons and Amazonians, we can federate successfully with La République?
Federate is a taboo. The answer is no. Federating two different entities do not federate. Two different entities do not federate. Our case is like that of Senegal and Gambia. Senegambia is like Eritrea and Ethiopia. It never worked. So different entities do not federate. Listen, I saw an article, someone was talking about divorce bill, and it was Briscam party, whatever. They talk about divorce bill. They're assuming, I'm totally against that article. They're assuming that there was federation. They're assuming that we were one. And so now it's time to divorce. How do you divorce when you never got married in the first place? If you get married, there is going to be a marriage certificate. In our case, a treaty of union. Why do you talk about divorce when we never even got together to start with? So that the individual who wrote that to me is a sneaky, smart person trying to play and support federation. Look, when La République of Cameroon had independence 1st January 1960, we were not part of it. The UN voted for our independence and proclaimed the date October 1, 1961. There was something like a charade in Fumban, and they called Fumban Accord, which I said nonsense. That was a party time thing. We have never federated because there's no proof. There's no treaty of union anywhere. I've dug my archives, done my research at UN. There is no treaty of union between La République of Cameroon and the British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. That is supposed to be the marriage certificate deposited at the UN Secretary General's office in conformity with UN Article 101, Paragraph 1. It was UN General Assembly Resolution 1601, 15, Paragraph 5 that demanded that there should be that Treaty of Union. It's nothing up to now. So my question to La République is, what is wrong with you guys? We never united to start with. There is no act of union. Why are you killing our people? You came and declared war on us, and you know that we were not part of you. It was Biya himself, President Biya, who seceded from the illegal, what we term, union. Even though it was illegal, he seceded in 1984. So why
Professor Ayim, sorry, I would like to interrupt you there quickly. You know, La République, from the onset, like you mentioned the Fumban, you know, how it was a charade. It proves that from the beginning, they have been on a mission. They have been doing this assimilation. They have been trying to colonize us from the beginning. Now we have come to this reality. In your view, what do you think is causing some Southern Cameroonians, some Ambazonians to still believe that federation is even possible with La République, which from the beginning of any connection with them have proven that they intend to colonize, dominate, and assimilate us?
I think the effect of the grandmaster of whatever, the occult person, it's playing a toll on our people. I believe so. And as a believer, I cancel it and rebuke it in Jesus' name. We are being manipulated in many ways, but God wins all the time. Listen, some money is an aspect. You see, La République gets into the heads of our people, give them our money taken from our side, and they have the guts to take it, to betray us, and fight against us. It is our money working against us. That is a thing we must overcome. And honestly, I am calling our brothers and sisters to rethink. And after my broadcast, line up with the right thing, which is we struggle for the total independence and state restoration and sovereignty of the British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, period. There is no federation on our agenda, the agenda of the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. No, because it's not needed. UN did not decolonize us completely. Our rights to self-determination have been violated. We deserve this. So, to our brothers, don't listen. The other day, I listened to I respect him a lot, Neil John Frundi, was on Equinox. Granted an interview because he had to travel out here. I listened to the interview from beginning to end. I wanted to pick his brain to see where he stands at this moment. And everything he said and the arguments he brought up were in favor of an internal problem, and then barely mentioned federation. I'm like, that's the wrong position. And he seemed to have blamed the Amber Boys for some things that, they didn't do. And I said, no, this is not right. I was talking to myself. Look, right now back home, people have Amber Boys. Atanganji has Amber Boys. Politicians have Amber Boys. All these are committing atrocities in order to blackmail the restoration forces. Interim government has restoration forces, not Amber Boys. So, to me, that was not the right argument. Those were not the right answers. And he said, you guys want the SDF to resign from the parliament. I said, yes. Then he asked the question, where do you want us to resign to? I said, wonderful. When there was benevolent neutrality from Lagos or from Enugu, and our people moved out, where did they go to? Didn't they go to Boya to start off another house of parliament? Now, if the SDF parliamentarians move out, they start off a parliament in Boya. They don't just resign, come and stay on full house and be working on Amber Boys. Why are they not providing leadership towards the restoration of our independence? Why must it be the restoration forces or us to do that? Why not them to lead? Are they immune to not letting us be ourselves? British Southern Cameroonians have come of age. We have come of age. We are able to govern ourselves. Don't worry about the groups here and there. There are just many ways of ourselves expressing ourselves. I am very positive that we will come together, push come to shove, when we get where. But sometimes it's good to speak from different angles, and because sometimes that motivates the other groups. So you realize that somebody is looking at you. You have to sit up ethically to work hard. There's a positive from having groups. So I don't just view it as negative, but let us not attack. Let us face the same resolve and have the independence we need. So those of you talking federation, forget it. Not on the watch of this interim government led by Sako, a God-sent leader at this point in time. I say that with confidence. A God-sent leader at this point in time for the struggle. Thank you.
Okay, initially you talked about our restoration. You've mentioned the United Nations Charter a few times. Some media have called us secessionists, they've called us separatists, they've called us different names. Some Amazonians call the freedom fighters restorationists. In your own view, as someone who have been fighting for Amazonia, for the independence on Amazonia, what are we fighting for? We need this clarification, because there's been a lot of things going on, especially on the social media, which it looks like people have forgotten why we started this fight in the first place, why some people ended up in jail, like Dr. Akwanga, who had to fled, and there's so many people, Mark Priska here in the UK, who were jailed many years ago, and some people are still in jail. Why we are having this fight in the first place? So, please, can you clarify in your own view, why are we fighting? What are we fighting for? Is it restoration? Is it liberation? Is it independence? Maybe it's just a play of words in English. Just in your own perspective, can you clarify on this? Thank you.
Thank you. We have been called names, that's true. And one of them is Yoabamenda. So it looks like anybody can just wake up and use any terminology to describe us. Listen, like I said earlier, our independence had been restored. We proclaimed it. The UN had voted for it. So what we are looking at now at the Department of Foreign Affairs, instructed, as I told you earlier, a specific assignment by the AP-SACO is recognition. What we are looking for and what I've been fighting for and doing things quietly is recognition. And I can tell you that we are moving positively towards that. You have heard about the Swiss talks. You've heard about the US, the people visiting back home. You've heard about the Germans coming there. You've heard about other delegations being led, NGOs that are right there. All these things are not by accident. Just last week, the Commonwealth granted granted audience to AP-SACO. So all this is not by coincidence. So the diplomacy is working, and that's what we're looking for: recognition, 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 recognition.
So far, you have mentioned some of the successes of the Department of Foreign Affairs, which you are the head of that department, and you also said we are fighting for recognition as a people, because we are already a people. We have a land, we have a territory, and we are a people. That's what makes a nation. So we are fighting for recognition. And you mentioned the Swiss talk. There's already been a lot of information education, especially by Comrade Bo Habed, who was live with Secretary Chris a few weeks ago. He articulated a lot about that. If you need to understand what the Swiss talk is all about, please watch the previous show Secretary Chris with Bo Habed on ABC Amber TV Facebook page, so you can get more details on what the Swiss talk means. And also you mentioned other countries like Germany and the US delegates. It shows that you are working tirelessly. But I don't think it has always been smooth. You have always got what you wanted, or you have always, things have moved. This outcome that we see came very easily. As the head of Foreign Affairs, have you faced any challenges in your efforts towards diplomacy thus far?
Yes, of course, there are always challenges. And one of the challenges is our inability to speak as one out there. You go to an office, then you hear this has been there, this is that, and then you have to go through the pains of explaining. And thank God the explanations have worked. And that challenge is not more a challenge, it's not more a hurdle. And secondly, money has been the biggest challenge. If we had as much money as we would like to have, we would have gone to many more places, many times, in different delegations or the same delegation. So money is our Achilles heel. The third challenge is unnecessary social media hoopla and brouhaha. It looks like people feel like they can just go to social media, just write anything, not knowing that when you write, people are reading. Okay? So, and that social media right now is not only our people, we have La République having the agents in social media. And some of them is what I term agents provocateurs, saboteurs, people out to let us knock our heads together. When something is going right, they create a disagreement, they bring it up rhetorically, and then our people start quarreling, And as you quarrel, what do? You're leaking out some secrets, some things we're not supposed to have said. I see some activists, it looks like they just enjoy creating confusion. And I asked myself, gentlemen, are we on the same side? Why is it so easy for you to pick on one on ourselves and leave La Republic free? And then you are indirectly for La Republic or helping La Republic. You are an enabler. And the irony about all this is they turn around to say the IG is an enabler. It's reverse psychology. So these are challenges we get, especially when La Republic uses our money to get into people's heads to talk about one another, even plan to kill one another. Kill one another. You know what happened in Batubah. Why will you be fighting? Why will you be killing a Restoration Force member, an Ambazonian soldier, instead of targeting La Republic soldier? Under what circumstances should that even happen if we are thinking right? You know, that is upside down thinking the way I see it. And please, I'm appealing to everyone. Let's stop this. Let's stop this. Our people are dying. And our youths are dying. Women and men are dying. Let's not aggravate their death and their pains. Let's come together and attack the common enemy. Who becomes president down the road is I care less for that. We are all caretaker people. And when we get to Buea, we lay our rules down, lay the conditions down with a good constitution approved by the people. Any Ambazonian is qualified to run for president and can win. Those who are not even in the struggle, so long as you espouse good policies. So there is no ambition for anyone here, like in the interim government, to continue to Buea and lead there. That is out of place. It's a misinterpretation. Please. So the challenge of disunity is there, and it's my plea for us to overcome it. Thank you.
Wow. You've really said quite a lot of things that is facing. And one of the key things that caught my interest is that if we have the money, you would have sent delegation in a lot of places, you know, and I understand that there have been a lot of drop in contributions from the people and with numerous excuses, because this war must be won, and it can only be won by us. And Prof. Martin Ayim have articulated that in so many different ways. So fellow Ambazonians, it is not the time to tire. It is not the time for our resolve to reduce. Instead, it is the time to fight as if we are just beginning, and to fight as if there is no other option, because the way some people behave and act is as if we have another alternative. We don't have any other homeland. Ambazonia is our only homeland. Maybe you have another one, but some of us don't. Ambazonia is our only homeland, and we must fight and fight with all that we have. We cannot fight for attention, recognition, or some kind of praise and glory at this point in time when we have not actually have the trophy. The victory is not complete. We are merely on the right path, and we must not be distracted. We cannot hold the plow and look back now. We must keep moving on and moving ahead. Thank you so much, Professor Martin Ayim, for well articulating the current state of things, especially related to your department within the interim government. Thank you, televiewers, for watching. We'll continue with the questions. You know, there's been so much going on, and you in particular, and you've mentioned so many different things. You serve in the governing council, you served when Siseko was leading the interim government before he was arrested and denying orders. You now currently have served in different capacities under the acting president, Dr. Samuel Sako Ikome. You know, you have been the governing council was the first political leadership we had that was generally accepted by the people in this revolution. And then before it was changed into the interim government. So you have been in this evolution of the political leadership of the revolution. You've took part in this evolution internally, and as a revolutionary, as a fighter, as an activist, someone who is fighting for the independence of Southern Cameroons. In your idea, how has this evolution, what exactly has happened as the evolution of the political leadership of this revolution that is so pleasant to you?
The most pleasing thing to me was the filling in by Sako, by having Sako as a president when our leaders were abducted. I am telling you, there was going to be the struggle was going to be in total disarray, because we didn't even know who was the VP XX, Vice President X, we didn't even know. All right. And now we had to go through the process of getting someone.
Sorry, I'll just before you carry on, I'll quickly interrupt you there. You said
Yes.
you were in the cabinet at the time and you did not know who was VP XX. Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
All right, you can carry on.
Yes. And nobody in the cabinet knew who was VP XX. It was kept as a secret. So we kept asking the chief of staff, who is VP XX? Who should normally step forward in the absence of the president? There was none. So now we were faced with the problem of, okay, now do we have to conduct an election, to fill the gap? And it all started from the country coordinators, etc. People were voted, and it came up to the cabinet. There was a vote. So Sako came to power, voted by the people. Now, since then, he has stabilized the course, redirected the course on the right path, in waiting for Sissoco to come out and assume his presidency. Sako had never any one day said he was going to take over from Sissoco at all. So where this came from, these later days, I just don't understand. So the best thing that happened was the filling in of that vacuum. And if you fill in a vacuum, of course, you have to have a team that works with you. So what happens, people like Milton in South Africa was, he's quite a nice man. I like him. I recruited him to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and we worked together. But in the cabinet meetings, he was very disruptive. And a cabinet meeting of 9 hours, we spent 4.5 hours, Milton talking about either Mangang or Scoop or that. And then we're like, sir, how can we spend this amount of time talking about this instead of doing what the people want? So if you are the head, what do you do? Even with that, he was not removed. He was reassigned, and he himself decided not to participate. So this is just one point about all those that were in Sissoco's government, many who were let go. It's because they were not towing the line for us to move this struggle forward. And if you are not towing the line, normally you expect the leader to replace you. So that is what happened. So to me, the best thing that has happened in the struggle was the ability for us to get another leader to continue the struggle to where we are. And the successes of the administration are numerous. Okay. I am not in this to serve one person. I am not for Sako. I am not like honoring Sako or adoring him. But if you do a good job, I praise you. If Sako was placed in the same situation where like Sissoco is, I would have still said, no, don't speak, you cannot lead from jail. It's not safe. So it's about it's about protecting the cause. It's not about any individual. I love both of them, but we have to protect this cause. Thank you.
Wow. Fellow viewers, you have heard from someone who experienced the change, the transformation that this interim government has been through, and a few of the internal squabbles that they had. Thank you so much, Professor Martin Ayim, for honoring this invitation to speak with us on Amber Dynamics and ABC Amber TV. Just before we round up and we close, I just like you to have a few words to our freedom fighters on ground zero who are throwing everything to see that our freedom is attained.
To our fighters on ground zero, we adore you. We thank you. We admire your bravery. We admire what you're doing as self-defense of our land. We have you at heart in anything we are doing, any decision we are making. Please continue in the same faith. You are special people. You are special people. We will do everything we possibly can to make sure you have what you need to be able to defend our land. Please ignore detractors. The Sako administration is working hard, very hard to get what you need. Please. So that is our message to you. And we put you in prayers every time. And because God is fighting this struggle with you, you will remain strong. I always quote Jeremiah 1:19. That says, those people fighting against you will fail because I, the Lord God, I am fighting for you. We invoke that, we receive that, and please, and we pray for you every time. Be wise, have common sense. Don't be unnecessarily brave. Don't expose yourself when you should not. Please minimize videos that expose a location. Minimize pictures that show a location where you are. Let's fight smart. Let's defend smart. You are doing a good job and we are winning. For those who had not participated in the enforcement of the lockdown, please step forward and let's enforce this lockdown. Let's see 100% participation across Ambazonia land, because we in diplomacy, we are using the successes of the lockdown to concretize our independence. The best thing you can give to the children, the best thing you can give to our children at this moment is to enforce the lockdown. It's just a short period. 3 weeks is not too much. Please do it wholeheartedly. We are feeding this information diplomatically to the circles that matter, and they are seeing. So please, teamwork. Don't only say, like I hear some people say, the diaspora just did, the diaspora just that. Some of us in the diaspora don't even sleep. If you look at my WhatsApp, sometimes by 4 a.m., 5 a.m., I'm up, trying to motivate people, trying to do something for the cause. We will not be happy out here when we have not attained our independence for our youth, for our grandchildren, for posterity. So there should be no disconnect between you on ground zero and us in the interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Sako has a heart, has you at heart. Please, Sako has not embezzled any money. The IG has not embezzled any money. People I hear terms like embezzlers and pastors and this. This is sarcasm, and this is not called for among our people. An honorable man of class, focused to get us independence like Sako, deserves respect. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Martin. I am Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, and we appreciate your word of wisdom, counsel, and direction. We hope to have you here again some point in the future to tell us more about what you are doing in your department. It looks like you have a whole lot full, especially when you are using every information that happens in the revolution that will benefit us to feed those who pays interest, to feed the powers that be of the gravity of our crisis, of the conflicts that we have with La Republique on ground zero. I'm sure the people of Amazonia will appreciate that, especially those on ground zero who are watching us right now, would know that we are working. We are not all on social media making noise and shouting and talking to, exposing things we shouldn't be exposing. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. And thank you, televiewers, for watching. Those watching on YouTube and on Facebook, and all of those watching even on satellite. We appreciate you. Please send us your contributions through the message or in the comment section of who you like us to talk to next. Thank you, and stay tuned on ABC Amber TV. We hope. Professor Ayin, just quickly before I go, I wanted to just ask, it's your department. What are the plans you have for future? What are you doing going forward?
Yeah, Lady K, thank you. I was going to ask you to give me a minute to make a concluding statement. Lady K, our Department of Foreign Affairs and our diplomacy, we have to maintain sealed lips. I am not going to stand here and unveil what we are going to do next, because, of course, La Republique is listening to us here. And just like some circles in diplomacy have warned me and told us, they say we talk too much, and that will release information that we're not supposed to release and call names that are not supposed to be called. In diplomacy, you confide in somebody, you don't bring it out. You call the person's name and office and all that stuff, take all these unnecessary pictures and be showboating and grandstand. Has told us we have to learn to be secretive in the interim government. And so that was very good advice. I'm keeping to it. And let me just round up like this. Fellow Amazonians, see, a federation with French Cameroon is absolutely a non-starter and will only kick the can down the road 30 to 40 years for our descendants to fight this battle again. We don't want that to happen. Support your local government area, LGA by LGA, your counties, fund the revolution, maintain a robust outreach to the diplomatic community, which I am doing, we are doing in the Department of Foreign Affairs. Victory is certain, my people. Victory is within our grasp. Freedom is near indeed. Please listen to the interim government. There's a lot we are doing. There's a lot we're just covering. And SACO is on the right track. God bless you. God bless Amazonia. Let me say, short live the struggle and long live the Federal Republic of Amazonia. I'm your servant. I'm Secretary of State Opposition. I'm your servant, and I'll continue to serve you with all my heart. Would not take one penny of blood money at all. I will not. Please keep up the faith. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you for that uplifting last few last words there, Professor Martin Ayim. And I want to thank our televiewers once again for joining us, and we hope to see you next time on Amber Dynamics and ABC Amber TV. Remain blessed. Stay tuned.